Hey guys, today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Building a Medieval Castle from Scratch.
In the forests of Burgundy in central France stands a medieval castle. It's partially built, not because it's in ruins, but because it's still under construction. It looks and sounds like the year 1255.
1200,
The challenge here is to build as they would have in that era.
Oh my god, like the era,
Long before electricity, using tools fashioned by blacksmiths.
Okay.
And laying stones by hand.
It's a mixture of sand and lime and water. So this is like our glue that we use to stick all of our stones together.
And this will last for...
And this will last thousands and thousands and thousands of years, no problem. This is what the Romans and the Greeks used.
Ben Wallace was restoring old buildings when he visited this castle called Guédelon as a tourist and applied for a job.
How is it to have been a stonemason as a career and then to discover this place exists?
I have so many
Bit of a
questions.
dream, really. The possibility to work as they did back in medieval times, to take the time as well to do things properly.
What was the castle hiring?
They are taking time. This project started 27 years ago and is still expanding into a medieval village.
Why?
Oh, okay, that's the idea.
I was staying a little modest. I don't speak about cathedral. A castle.
Cathedral would have been even more complicated.
A little
True.
more.
Co-founder Marlon Martin worked with the unemployed and liked the idea of creating jobs in rural France. Today, the project is sustained through ticket sales to 300,000 visitors a year.
I want that people stay here and let their imagination go.
The castle is here because of this quarry, where Tundra Shauren extracts sandstone for the walls.
I can select have to actually select the stones.
how many stones I want to cut out of it.
In a modern quarry, it's huge trucks and heavy equipment. What's used here is an iron wedge and sledgehammer.
It's a lovely job.
Oh, I can't believe, yeah, you actually did it.
Lovely.
Imagine that this simple block is going to represent a beautiful stone in the castle with beautiful geometrical shapes.
My job in Guédelon is really to grow medicinal gardens.
Of course, I have to live
Resident
like
herbalist
that
Emma
time.
Blondie nurtures plants not just for food, but medicine, using medieval documents as a guide.
I just
Okay, that's
grinding
incredible.
like this until I have a very fine powder.
Paint recipes from the Middle Ages have been unearthed too.
It's a mix with the white of the egg, some cherry tree gum. Yes, I know.
Yeah, no, but
Claire
it
Keogh's
makes sense.
palette for wall designs comes from what's found on castle grounds.
So we have some different stones, clays, charcoal, ochres.
In this bold effort to build a castle from scratch, they're following a design that dates back to France's King Philip II, and 800 years later, it's
Okay, so they're
fostering
using
a
old
new
plans.
generation of specialist artisans. When Notre Dame burned in Paris, workers came from the castle to help and share expertise.
What's the
Yeah, of course, I
bigger
have a lot of
value to
experience.
this project?
It's very green. We take the nature, trees, sand, stone, and we do a medieval castle, but we can imagine to take the same materials to do a house. It's a so modern adventure.
It's
It's
a
an
modern
adventure, I'll give you
adventure,
that.
building skills and realizing a dream by looking back to the design and ways of another time.
That's crazy. They were walking in the wheel. Okay, so this was crazy in a good way. I can't believe it was the forefront of my mind was like, how long is it going to take these people to build this, and how long has it been? It's like, no, it's a 20, like it's been going for 25 years. It's like, yes, because again, what I said earlier, it's like castles take such a long time to get built. Like that's especially because they're using like, I was expecting, oh, well, they're going to be using like new technologies, like new materials. No. They're going the old fashioned way, which is, I know it's like, it's going to take you like 50 years, probably even longer. But I love how you could just sort of like check it out. Like you can just like periodically maybe like check out how it's going and like, well, let's see in 5 years like how advanced it is. I love the fact that they're actually using like the groundwork, like the lay plans and the plans themselves. It's like, it's actually a thing from like 1800, like the year 1800. So it isn't like they're using like new architects or, you know, just like new engineers or something. Like no, they're using like the old prints, like the old plans they had like back in the day, which I actually love because everything is very authentic. But also I have like so many questions about this. I love the fact that it has apparently, because this again is like in the middle of Burgundy, I think, so it's like in the middle of apparently nowhere, I don't know, but they make it sound like it's just like in the middle of nowhere. And I like the fact that, like she said, like they're creating jobs in medieval in like in the middle of like a place that really didn't have probably a lot of like job sources, and people were probably like moving away because obviously it's all very, maybe a lot of like it's agriculture and maybe like they didn't really had, again, like there weren't enough like job sources. So I do like the fact that this project has created and probably attracted even people from nearby towns, because it's like, hey, no, we have like a job here, so it is good. You don't have to like move to the city. It's like, okay, I love that, great. And I think also it's a good thing because there are probably a lot of techniques, and the techniques that they're using, I would assume, you know, they're not that common these days, and they're not that used, but they are putting in, you know, they're putting in the effort for those traditions to not get lost in time and in history, which I love, because it's like, that's on another hand, like it's very good that they're trying to like keep the tradition alive in a sense. So it is good. And something surprised me as well. That surprised me was like the guy was saying like, no, this whole like, I don't know, glue situation material that they are creating, that's for sort of like from what I could understand, would be like the equivalent of cement these days. It's like the Romans used this, and you know, it's like it's still standing. This is going to stand the test of time. Like in 1,000 years, like this is still going to be like, it's not just like a flimsy thing that's gonna, it doesn't last a long time. He was like, no, like the Romans used this, and they're still like, the buildings are still there. So it is like, oh my god, it's incredible. So this is a project made to withstand the test of time. And it's like, again, but like back in the day, it's a project that's gonna take you, I don't know, 30 years, 50 years, but it's gonna be, you know, 500 years later, it's still gonna be there. It's gonna be standing, which I love. It's like, what a wonderful thing to be like a part of it, and how proud are the people that are working on this must be, because they're like, oh my god, you know, working in this project must be an incredible thing. But I do have like a lot of questions. Like from what I can understand, they're trying to like replicate like how like all those medieval sort of like villages, and I know I've heard of people doing this, but they're usually, from my understanding, is that they're doing it like on the weekend or for like a few weeks. But this leads me to believe that they're living like this as authentically as possible. So it is like, okay, but what are the limits? Like for how long have you been like doing this? And it's like, can you go to the market? Like, can you go to a supermarket, a modern supermarket, like at least maybe like once a month? Or is that a whole thing of like, no, like we're not using any modern things. Like you really do have to make do with what you have. You have to cook with what you have. You have to, maybe with medicine is a bit different, although she said like she was a healer or something of the sort. Like she's trying to make like medicinal plants, and she makes concoctions, maybe up to a certain point. Like maybe you have a headache, or you know, like it's like, yes, good, but obviously people get like actually they get sick, as in like they need modern medical attention. Do they like have to, no, we have to go to hospital, like, or we need a doctor, like, do they, like, we have to go and that's allowed? You know, I'm wondering about the limits. And also again, like the whole situation of like, I don't know, the food they're cooking, where do these people live? Like, do they actually live in the castle? Because I'm guessing it's, you know, it has a, bro, they're planned, like a lot of rooms are planned, but you know, there are some rooms that probably are already like, they're in the kitchens as well. They're probably already like made, they're built. So do they just live there? And again, they know electricity, they don't have phones, but can you like maybe like escape once a year to like check out on the outside world, and maybe like give me a phone so I can like go on the internet and maybe like check other things. I don't know. It's kind of like they're living off the grid, but it's fun. I don't know how. long, like, again, that's why I'm wondering, like, how long do people last in this job? How long have they been built? How long have they been living here, participating in this project? Because it's like, I'm so like, I think it would be fun to do. Then maybe after like 2 years, maybe you're like, I've had it. I don't know. Like I would be asking them this. And again, like what's the turnaround? Do people think that they can do it? But then after a few months, they're like, you know what? This is very hard living off the grid like this. I have to, I am sorry, but like, good luck. But goodbye. Or people do actually like, no, we love this way of living. Because I think one thing is also like, it sounds very cool in theory, but I think when you actually live something like this, and you start to face the reality of actually living off the grid like that and living like the 200,000, I think it was like 200,000 something. It's gotta be hard, I think, especially if you're used to like the modern era. It's gotta be a tough adjustment period, and I'm wondering how actually is it for people to actually live like that. But this was incredibly interesting, and hopefully I'll check out in a few years and see how the progress, because I would love to see it built and actually an actual tour of how it is on the inside. But that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.